All right, let's talk about Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions, who won a wild one against the Green Bay Packers. Let's get into it. There was some bad. We will talk about how the Packers were ultimately able to kind of get back into this game, but also why the Lions ultimately won it. So, yeah, let's just get into it. Let's start off with this play, because this shows what you don't want to have happen if you're playing the Detroit Lions, which is the concept itself. It's going to be a man coverage play. It's not a blitz, just a four-man rush. And you see, it's actually Jahmyr Gibbs' route that Goff is going to start off looking towards here. You might be thinking that's kind of weird. Why are you looking towards your halfback on a go route here? Well, it's because he's playing against the linebacker, right? It's kind of why you do this. And then that route would be Goff's next read, the one more going over the middle. That's where he would look. So, okay, it makes sense. Well, let's see how this plays out. Goff is going to take the snap. He looks in Gibbs' direction right here, and you see, the linebacker is not getting beat deep. He kind of says, hey, a lot of times these routes are go routes, and, we all know Gibbs' speed. I think I know what's happening here. So he's covered that up. For Goff, he's smart enough to say, well, let's not take that chance then. And the real thing you want to avoid here with the Lions is if you look at Goff, there isn't anyone close to him. He is completely protected. Goff has plenty of time to get to his next read, is able to make a throw, and just the reality is they can block so well for Goff, and if Goff has that much time, he's going to find someone who's open. You're not going to be able to cover for that long. So that's what you have to avoid if you're playing the Detroit Lions. You have to avoid those situations, and what is the way to avoid it? Well, heading over here, this is something you see teams do, which is send an extra guy. And really, you want to make a halfback block. So you're going to send a linebacker right here. David Montgomery is going to be the guy who is blocking on this one. And you would think David Montgomery would be a very good blocking halfback. I would call him a very inconsistent blocking halfback. Definitely when he is able to get the right approach, he can definitely lay you out. But the issue is there also are plays like this. Watch, Packers linebacker is going to get there. He really gets to Goff. Now, Goff, to his credit, still gets the ball out, but it was dropped by Williams. I'm not sure if the pressure had an impact on that play or if it was just a drop. Either way, it was a catchable ball at the very least. But it's that kind of mindset. That's what the Packers are doing, right? Trying to get guys through to Goff. This is another example where it's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs, and you even see, Goff telling people at the line where to go. You see there is a linebacker right here. That's where Gibbs is looking towards. As you see when this play begins, Gibbs actually does not block. Why doesn't he block? It's actually usually the correct read because it's just a four-man rush. The issue, though, is because the Packers sent the linebacker and had a defensive lineman drop back into coverage, it kind of messes up the protection for the Lions. You see Rashawn Gary right there, so because of just the way that the Packers have rushed right here, they know that the guard is going to get taken away by a linebacker. So Gary has a lane to run through there, and because Gibbs decided not to block, which was, again, on paper, the correct read right here, but since they know what the Lions are going to do in these situations, Gary is able to get over and get to Goff. So that's what the Packers were doing to start. They were able to get a couple nice defensive drives going, but this is the great thing about football, is once you get a good strategy, well, now the offense is going to counter. What did the Lions do? Well, you didn't see it before this play, but it started running the ball a lot. Getting the running game going always helps out strategies so much because once you have the running game going, well, now it opens up the playbook. The Packers are going to be playing zone coverage right here because they want to make sure they're aware of being able to stop a run. Then Goff is going to make this throw, and you look and see how open that is. Again, this is just what the Lions do, right? They run the ball effectively, force you into zone, and then, that allows the linebackers to get out of position, and they're so fast that they can get a window. Goff, to his credit, puts that one right on the money, and they're able to pick up a big gain as well. It's good stuff all around. So this is kind of the Lions counter. That's how they were able to start driving the ball again. There was a very interesting play in this game. Going over here, well, there were plenty of interesting plays in the game, but this was a very important play, being currently up 3 points. You don't want to just be up 3 points with the Packers getting the ball to start the second half. You want that 10-point lead. It's man coverage. The Packers are in a weird spot where they have to make sure they defend up the middle in case this is a handoff. Although I do have to say, it feels like there's maybe a bit of a tell that this might not be a handoff because you have Gibbs in the backfield. And while I was talking about some of Gibbs's, maybe not being the best blocker stuff earlier, this is why you have Gibbs and why you play him in these situations. When this play begins, so it's man coverage, you see Gibbs's route here, how he's faking as though he's going towards the sideline, which is a lot of times what you do on these plays, but that's not what Gibbs is doing. Watch him just juke out that linebacker who gets, so burned. He just tries to dive for the ball, but not going to get it done. Really good stuff by Goff to make that throw as well. Because that, of course, wasn't Goff's first read, but Goff, got there quickly and knew, was able to figure out it was going to get open. So really just good stuff all around here by the Detroit Lions to go up 10 points right here. We got to go over here now, though, because, they get up big to start the second half, and then the Packers hit a big play. They're able to score a touchdown, make it a 3-point game again. So not ideal start, but no worries. Let's just keep scoring. Make sure you keep up being, remain being up 2 scores, no big deal. Well, it's 2nd and 14, so that's already not ideal, but you have Tim Patrick running a route that, is trying to get into a gap in coverage there, and Goff just kind of plays this weird. The broadcast actually brought it up. I thought they did a good job at pointing this out, but watch what happens. So Goff is going to take the snap right here, and you see, Patrick is just not open. This is completely covered up. The broadcast mentioned that Goff kind of used his eyes to try and take away a defender over the middle of the field, which is, good. That's what makes Goff a good quarterback, right? Is he knows how to do that, knows how to get people out of position. Here, though, it's not always going to work, and you have to make sure you do give yourself enough time to, read that the play is not working. Goff just doesn't do that. He throws an interception, and that was a back-breaking interception at the time. You were feeling great being up double digits, and then all of a sudden, you find yourself trailing because the Packers score another touchdown right after. It's not Goff's fault for all that, but it definitely is Goff's fault for, some of what happened. Now I want to go over here. After that interception, I'll give Goff credit for this. We saw this on his 5 interception day against the Texans, right? He settles down. He'll make his mistakes here and there. Like, he's not a perfect quarterback, but he's also not someone who's going to say, well, I made a mistake, now I have to completely change my game. So this is such a fun play. So it's probably my favorite Tim Patrick touchdown of the game. It would not be his only touchdown of the game. It's going to be a designed pick play is what it looks like, where Patrick is running the pick part of this play. Goff takes the snap, and what he does, which is interesting, is so Tim Patrick gets his head turned around, which usually you just do because it's a penalty otherwise. Like, the way the NFL rulebook is that you can't run a route designed to get in somebody's way. But if you do run a route and it happens to get in somebody's way, well, that's allowed. How do you determine that? Well, does it look like a route? Does he look back towards the ball? Here, Patrick is doing that, but Goff looks over and says, well, you're open, so why not throw it to you? That's exactly what Goff does. I don't think that was by design. Maybe it was. If it was, I'll give Ben Johnson credit for the design, but I think that was just Goff and Patrick kind of saying, hey, this ended up working out over here, in which case, got to give them a lot of credit. Whoever it was, very clever play to get the touchdown there. And then going over here, so the Packers are going to start this in zone coverage. It's an interesting situation. So it's a tie game, 31-31. There's plenty of time left. The Lions can do whatever they want in this situation with 3:38 left. So what do they decide to do? Well, they're going to play aggressive because of course they are. Watch as they run a play action, which gets Packers players somewhat out of position, but also they're just able to, Williams gets to his spot so quickly. And the Packers had a couple safeties very deep on this play. So, good job by the Lions to take advantage. But yeah, definitely one that the Packers would probably like to have back a little bit. But just like that, it kind of changes the whole dynamic, right? You're already at midfield, just need a little bit more to try and get a first, or try to get a field goal range, So then going over here, they're at midfield, trying to get another first down to get in long field goal range. And so what are they going to do here? Well, again, something very similar, a play designed to beat zone coverage. The Packers were in zone coverage, and, they were able to hit that one. So, okay, looking good for the Lions here. But after a couple of stops, the Packers had a chance, are in a position where they have a chance. Over here, so the Packers, who did not blitz on those last couple of plays, say, okay, let's, again, go back to what we were doing earlier, get a halfback to block, right? Let's see if we can get that going here, send some pressure. Well, Ben Johnson is ready for it. He, figures a blitz is coming, flips it out to, Jahmyr Gibbs, so trying to gain some yards. And it's a situation where, we all know how the Lions operate, right? If they don't get the first down, they can go for it on fourth. Right here, though, you're thinking Gibbs is just going to power through and try to get the first down that way. He instead makes a move, and it's a bold call, but he can make moves so well that, of course, he hits it and is able to get the first down. Really good job by Gibbs. Good job by Ben Johnson. And, hey, Goff made the throw, too. Give him a little bit of love. And then this play, I mean, it's a 2nd and 17. You're thinking like, okay, are the Lions even going to get an easy field goal range here? You want to gain some yards on this one. Well, I think it's a bold call here by the Lions to throw it here, because if you run the ball, then that guarantees you can, run the ball twice. You can guarantee to get 40 extra seconds off the clock. If you throw it and it's incomplete, then you're in a real bind. But when this play begins, you see how open Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to get. There's a little bit of contact, but, it is what it is. If it doesn't get called, it's not a penalty, right? So you see he is wide open, and it makes you feel better about throwing the ball. It's less risky when you have Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jared Goff, right? Goff makes the throw. They actually don't get the first down right here. They were very close. The crowd wasn't a fan of it, but they do not get the first down on this one. They later elect to go for it on 4th down, and allowed them to convert, and then they were able to kick the field goal as the game expired. So, really good stuff here by the Lions. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on the Lions and their, very fun victory against the Packers. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And, of course, as always, thanks for watching.